morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. Oh, here we go again. We're having issues with, oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Let me take care of this. Sorry, YouTubers. We're just having some trouble with,
like everything else in the universe today, connecting.
Facebook. But thank goodness this has happened before, so it's not a hard fix. And that should solve the problem unless we have them. There we go. All right. So we should be fine now. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I'm the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco. And thank you for being here this morning. I know we're a little bit behind schedule. We had sign-on issues, and then Facebook didn't want to come online. So it's just happy Tuesday. What is it? The middle of the month. So who knows what's causing it. But anyway, welcome. We're glad that you're here. We hope you had a great weekend. And welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche.
Hola, mi gente, aquí con la Margarita, your gladiator guru. From Thursday to Tuesday, it seems like an eternity sometimes. And you like to prepare, and then boom, your computer doesn't want to connect. Everything else connected except this. So here we are. And this Tenacious Tuesday, which means grab it by the horn and make it do what you make it do. Put on your big girl peonies. No matter how holy they are at this point, just put the damn things on, even if you got to put them over your clothes. And let's make it happen. Today's the 19th of September. What have you done in 19 days? I tell you, I did shit on my main list of what I had to do. So I'm speaking from experience this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning. Badass Buddha doesn't sing anymore because it's a beautiful morning.
That was your thing. What are you talking about?
Because you know what? Every morning's beautiful. Desiree, Gail, yep. Good morning, buenos dias. Yes. Tenacious Tuesday. Now we got to find one. So anyway, ladies, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Shelton, but my darling badass Buddha and I used to meet at this coffee shop that we really love. We love the ambiance. It was like wood and not too brightly lit and all that kind of stuff.
And it's very New England. It's a very New England feel.
Very New England. No music ever played in there. And then I found out you really need to get a music license, whether you're playing the radio or anything. And not much of a conversationalist, the workers, but we went there together. But yesterday I went with my son and they closed down.
Yeah,
I was kind of upset. Yeah. I was not upset. I was kind of like, wow, like we don't see some of this stuff happening, but yeah, they do look for royal. Oh, yeah, I know. I looked it up just to see, but there are places like that. But yeah, so what I'm saying is everything is temporary. There is not one thing that is forever, except eternally your spirit when it goes up to whatever it is you believe in.
Good morning, Carmen. Carmen's in the house. Good morning, Carmen.
Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Just do it with the Puerto Rican square to it. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. Go. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
To you, Carmen.
Oh, wait. It's Desiree. Desiree. We got the wrong name. I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. I'm just following your lead. Okay, yeah, we have to do it again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Desiree. Happy birthday to you. With no accent. To you, not to you.
Yeah, so that's great. Kara's birthday is next month. Yes. But yeah, So everything is temporary. What you do today is what is the most important thing you'll be doing in your life. What you do tomorrow it would be just as important. What you did yesterday was important. The only difference is you did it, it's done. You can't go back and fix or tweak or twerk anything to it. So when we realize everything is temporary, happiness, joy, pain, suffering, grief, love, high sexual drive, all of that is temporary, and it may flow where it'll come back, it'll come back, or it may not. So enjoy anything and everything while you have it. Tolerate the pain, the suffering, the inconveniences, just flow with it, because remember, what comes to you is meant to go through you. But everything is temporary, and we forget about that when we're so stuck on our own bullshit, or we're so riding high that we forget to reach down and lift others up. We're so secretive and sneaky, and everything is temporary. So
You said all that stuff that you said about like the pain and all that, the discomfort, or you said another word too. We have to also remember that that's all information that's coming to us. So when it gets uncomfortable, when it gets frustrating, annoying, when anger comes up, it's there's a purpose for it, And when we're grateful for all the information, even when we're not liking it, you don't have to be grateful in the moment. Sometimes you can be pissed off and feel the anger, but then after, make sure that you take time to reflect and say, there was a reason for all this, and what did I learn from all of this? Because if you've learned nothing, if you've taken nothing from it, then it does become a moot point. It isn't something that you'll ever be grateful for. And believe me, I know, because that has been, for me, I swear, it's like when you're starting to move in the direction that you are meant to go into, it's amazing the amount of crap that comes up, and people changing the game on you, comments being made, what else? Like people just feeling like, I don't know. But it makes what the end result is clarity of self. In the end, you have to decide what my journey is this, and I'm going to stay steadfast in my journey. And what is this pushing me to do, or a direction that it's pushing me to go in? So when you're in that moment, be in that moment. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Today's conversation is living gratitude. What does that mean? It's the 5, maybe 6 senses of living in gratitude, and being in that moment, and just feeling what you're feeling. And then if you can't be grateful in that moment, to be grateful like soon after, because it had a purpose. It absolutely, everything has a purpose. How you feel has a purpose.
Absolutely. Let me tell you. Thank you, Arlene. Welcome. I'm so happy you always log on. You said everything you said was so important about us, because feel it. That's how you learn. You got to allow it to come to you, to go through you, but it always, anything in the 5 senses, everything that goes in the 5 senses is a learning experience. Why do we only want to learn things about someone else and not ourselves? Learn it, understand it. Pain is not your enemy. It's your reminder that you are alive. When you turn to it in that sense, then you start becoming your best friend. Like, okay, what am I supposed to learn? I'm in pain right now. Why? And learn so you don't repeat the mistakes, or learn so that you can enhance whatever you are deserving in your life, but you're putting it aside. Pain is your friend, and it's a reminder, but it's that nagging fucking friend, or it's that annoying mother that gets you up every morning because she wants you to have a good breakfast, to set your day, align your day with yourself, but then we complain about it. So it's that. So the question is, do you want to be better in your life? Do you want joy for your children. The badass Buddha has said this countless times, how everything decided to align for her to change because her daughter, like the little one, and while she was being a different person for that little one, she became a better person for the older one. And that's change. That's discomfort, because to be that, you have to suffer this. When you give this, then you go without that. That's life. That's the yin yang of life. So 5 senses plus 1 is always something we should keep in mind. Write it down, look at it, learn it, feel it, live it, and then share it. But yes.
And speaking of sharing, don't forget to share the broadcast this morning. We would really appreciate that. And again, this is the month of gratitude. We have this week and next week, and then we are in a new month, and a lot is going to happen in October. There's a lot going on, and hopefully not just with me, but there's a lot going on with Gladiator Guru, because she's got things pending, and we're just hoping that starts, because October might end up being a massive, like, crazy month for the both of us, but crazy good, crazy in a good way. So please, we would appreciate it if you would like, share, follow, subscribe on our YouTube channel. And if you could get other people to subscribe on our YouTube channel, that would be so great, because we just seem to be stagnated at our likes and followers on Facebook and YouTube. But it is what it is. That's okay. And we appreciate those of you that are here religiously. Like, we really, really do appreciate that. And thank you so much for being here. So let's go ahead and get ready to do our let's do our mantra, and we'll do our set our intention for today. Okay, so our intention, as always on Viva Cafe con Leche, is for you to go about your day being very purposeful and intentional. So set your intention for whatever that may be today, and back it up with
and do it in gratitude. I'm sorry. I'm trying to share so that people can like and comment and do it in gratitude. Be grateful. You ever notice when you're rushing and you're speeding, and someone comes in front of you, and then they're like Granny on a Sunday afternoon, and you're cursing, get on. Be grateful, because she prevented many things for you. Be grateful. The small things, not only the big things. Be grateful for those generic brands, and don't worry too much about the name brands. Be grateful. Be intentionally grateful. If it fits, wear it. Shut the hell up.
There you go. All right. Time for the mantra. Say it loud and say it proud. Here we go. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I keep it real.
All day, no doubt.
3 times the glam. It's Evelyn. Good morning. Right?
Hola, Evelyn. Rise and shine, everyone. Yes, yes. Okay. Mantra.
I'm just getting. Oops. All right. So here we go. We're going to be talking about the 5. Well, living it is the. So what do we have here for this thing? It's all the senses of gratitude. And thank you, Madeline. Madeline is she's on a roll, man. She's been actively giving so much phenomenal information. So I like this one. Ask yourself the questions and pause. We are most afraid in the pause because we actually become aware of what we want to do, need to do, should do for best self. Oh yeah, that's so right. Because this is why we're distracting ourselves all the time. We don't want the pause. We don't want quiet time. I laugh when people say, "Oh, I can't stand a quiet house. I can't stand when there's no music on. I have to have background noise." I get it for sleeping, because I'm like a white noise person. But when you keep something very quiet, like if you get in your car and you don't put anything on and you just drive for a little bit, makes people uncomfortable with that because they don't want to get into their head and they don't want to have that moment. Now, sometimes when you're in your headspace and it's negative and you keep reflecting on negative stuff, the distraction is good because it resets you. But as long as you're using the distraction as a purposeful reset. But for most people, they don't want to be there. So they always are distracting themselves from that. And so we need that quiet time. We need that pause and be able to bravely face what we need to face. And the beauty of gratitude is it allows us to move away from the negativity, the guilt, the resentment, the anger, the disgust. And it doesn't have to be towards another person. It could be towards ourselves. But gratitude is telling us, listen, you've made bad choices in your life. You can't go back and fix them. The only thing you can do is learn from them and be grateful for having learned those, having experienced that. And what are you going to do with that information? Be grateful for how people, your interactions with people, situations, good or bad. What are you going to do about it? Is it spot on? Do you need to make changes? Do you not need to? But that pause is waiting for the answer. And I know Gladiator Guru loves to talk about God, and it's the truth though. Have you ever been with a person, which is me, what I'm doing right now, but have you ever been with a person who doesn't shut up? Like you're in a conversation with them and they keep going and going and going, and you're waiting for that pause so that you could jump in and like say what you want to say. And they pause for a second and they go back in, or they pause and you go in and then they instantly cut you off and they start going on again. And I found that when you get people like that, and that was actually me. I had to get my point across. Now it's like I stop and I let them talk. And if I don't get my point across, then wasn't meant to be. And I'm not worried about it. But we do that to ourselves. We don't let ourselves get our point across. We don't sit and be still like that. So thank you for mentioning that, Madeline.
There's so many. The pause is very uncomfortable for many people that I've known. I don't know where it was that I said I can't remember the last time I ever said I was bored. I don't get bored. There's so many things
Me either. You know what? That's a good point. I don't either. I always find something. There's always something. That's so funny that you said that.
And let me tell you, my favorite place to be is with myself.
Yeah,
I love my alone time. I never feel lonely. I feel lonelier in a room filled with people than I do sitting here, taking my online course, trying to write something that hasn't been coming, like they're not meshing my words, creating my earrings and setting them up for sale. Just look at how beautiful, because I can't just say them enough for those who haven't seen them. Breathe in the beauty, breathe out the bullshit, and then my name on the back. Why? Because I am my brand. So there's always something to do. There's always, and because I have, how can I say this? I have lived my darkness and I have lived my sunny days on the beach, which everybody who knows me knows I can't stand the beach on sunny days. I go from the full moon. But I have. And now I found comfort because I've understood my me in my moments. And I think as time goes on, you learn. It doesn't matter how old you are. Don't get to my age to figure that out. You can figure that out whatever age you're at. Sit in the pause. Like Madeline, thank you. Phenomenally, that's the word of the day. Pause. Because that is so true. How can you live anything up? Which reminds me of the J-Lo song, my favorite song. And we ain't stopping till we done live it up. So anyway, don't make me sing because I'm tone deaf. I love to sing and it's too early for this shit. But sit in it, which means you gotta sit with yourself and stop pointing. Just sit in that circle. I don't care what you gotta put around you, but sit in it and stop saying, well, I'm like this because of. they did that, so that's why I did this, and I'm feeling this because of that. No, sit with yourself and all your bullshit in that pause. Because aren't you tired of carrying around all of that baggage? Half of the shit ain't even yours, but you took claim to it because it made you feel something and it gave you a reason to do something, to say something, to isolate somehow. Aren't you tired? I've been tired. That's why we did the Organize to Eliminate series. And that's where we're at now. So the badass is we talk and we share and we admit our uglies, because not everything about us is as beautiful as you see, okay, mi gente? There's a lot of ugliness sewn into the tapestry of who we are, but that's why we can sit here and speak so forth. So no shame, no triggers, no nothing. We can say we behaved, we screwed up, because it's true. When you can speak your truth, and that's when you're truly living. Because, and even say, you know what, I'm not totally there yet. That's why on Thursday I said, I am a child of God. I speak about God. I'll never deny him. I've lived through miracles. My last one being my car. I've witnessed miracles. So for me to say, yeah, I'm holier than thou, hell no, I fuck it up every day.
Who says that?
A
Did
lot of
anybody say that?
everybody says, but you know what? And I admit it, and it's be who you are. And that's how you live it up. You live it up according to what you want, what your desires are. Hurt no one. Purposely do not hinder anyone around you. Purposely do not cheat or steal from anybody who's been in your life. Just live your life. And changes bring about anger, and changes bring about hurt. And people will mourn your absence, and you will mourn your old life. But the process must be had, and you must continue. Okay? And that's what it is. People stay in miserable situations because they're afraid of what it's going to be like if they finally light that firecracker up their ass and go live the life they're supposed to live. So you stay, or you hold on, or you leave the door unlocked, or you make extra copies of keys, or whatever the hell you're doing to stay 1 foot there. And then you complain that what you wanted isn't coming fast enough, but it's because you are preventing it. So you have to say, what it is do I want? I am going to leave, and I am going to hurt my grown-ass children because they're used to having me. My grandchildren will miss me. I will miss my grandchildren. The life I knew will no longer be, because the life that I was born into living in this season of my life is awaiting my arrival. And you know what? I'm going to hurt. I'm going to second guess myself. I'm going to say, I have none of my shit. Now I got to be like, who am I? Like here, when I came from Florida, I was supposed to be here a month, maybe a month and a half. So I'm recycling my clothes, and I go out wearing it like I just bought it. Because it's a new day, which means it's a new energy. It's a new me. I've learned some stuff from the last time I wore this. Everything is so fresh and so clean. So, and that's how I want to live my life. Simple, yet effective. So I'm going to hurt, and I will hurt others, because every choice comes with pain. But every pain means you're stretching into the new you that you were destined to be. Okay.
I want to bring something that Gail said. So Gail said, as a child, I grew up hearing you should be grateful that you, and then fill in the blanks. Therefore, when told I should be grateful, I felt as though I were being punished. And then she said, man, learning to reframe this was a game changer. And then Desiree said, I'm so glad you came through this, Gail. And then Madeline says, it's ownership of our mistakes and our actions that we take away the power of shame. Yeah. And not just mistakes. I'm not a big fan of mistakes. I'm a big fan of choices, the word. I think there's very few mistakes. We do make mistakes, but most of the stuff that we do are very blatant, conscious choices. But ownership, absolutely. And so Gail brought up something that was pretty important, that because I remember hearing stuff like that too. Oh, you should be grateful you have a house. You should be grateful that your mother and father provide for you. Like I heard that a lot. And um shoulding doesn't work. Shoulding is just it's a manipulative form of being, making a person feel guilty, shaming them, stuff like that. Every so often, should, would, could come out in a conversation. It's just like need to. When somebody says you need to, that's telling you what you need to do, not you coming up to it. Every so often, those words are okay to use, but it's I catch myself, we are the products of our upbringing, and it takes great awareness to make changes in that. Instead of saying you should be grateful, just say, I'd like you to think about being grateful for this, or whatever, frame it differently. But this is about us. Okay. So when we're talking about this, we're talking about just the senses of gratitude. So let's think about the senses of gratitude. If you're thinking about your senses in general, we're talking about sense of smell, taste, sight, hearing, touch. Okay. and
And,
and what?
and the sixth one,
Which is?
your gut intuition.
Okay. So your gratitude, think of it in those terms, like gratitude with smell. Not that you're grateful for your smell. What does gratitude smell like? What does gratitude taste like? What does gratitude feel like? What does gratitude look like? What does it sound like? And what does it feel within your gut? And think about something that you absolutely love the smell of, you know, like walking outside in the wintertime and you get that whiff of, oh my God, it's going to snow. It might not snow, but it smells like
You
snow.
smell.
Or you walk outside in the fall, this time of the year, and you smell somebody in the distance having a bonfire, and it's like you smell that in the distance, Or if you're a beach person and you like going to the shore, you smell
The
the
salt water.
the salt water, right? Exactly. And how, like, to take those moments today and the rest of the week and just close your eyes and let your sense of smell take over, and then smell it, and then be grateful for it. Now, let's say you happen to be going by the sewage treatment plant. That happened on
And
Sunday.
that's gonna be like, oh, that's gonna wake you the hell up too.
On Saturday, we my friend and I were driving, but be great. How are you grateful for the sewage? I'm grateful that I could smell this. I'm grateful that I smell this and know that I would be able to, I'd have to move away from something like this. Our sense of smell isn't just about enjoying the smell. It's also about protecting us from danger. If I smelled gas in my house, I would know to vacate my house and then call the gas company. So that's the sense of smell, sense of your hearing. And again, when you go through these senses, you have to block off some sense, and especially vision. Vision's the biggest one, our cheating sense. Like, we use vision for everything. So close your eyes and listen. Close your eyes and feel. But do open your eyes at some point and really, really look around. I've got my backyard got overgrown while I was away in Tennessee, but I have a lot of wildflowers, and there's even some weeds that flower very beautifully. Well, there's a lot of yellow flowers, and what's interesting is there's this little yellow bird, and isn't that terrible? I can't remember what it's called. I've looked it up like 4 different times, and it's a yellow bird with black wings. And so if somebody knows their birds in Connecticut,
Not
but
a
anyway,
finch, right?
but it's not a finch. It's a little bit bigger, but it's smaller, but it's not as small as a finch. Anyway, it loves these yellow flowers, but it blends in so much. That's why it loves the yellow flowers. So I was washing dishes and this morning, and there it is, just, jumping from flower to flower. And it was so beautiful. I love seeing the yellow bird because you don't see the yellow birds all that often, And I have not tired of it. I'm not tired of the fact that I see a lot of dragonflies fly around, all different types,
Wow.
shapes, sizes,
Beautiful.
like colors.
The iridescent.
And then when you see a hummingbird, all of a sudden there's the hummingbird. A friend of mine who usually comes on, Wanda, she sent me a picture. She's like, "Have you ever seen a hummingbird just sitting still on a tree?" And she snapped a picture of it. And I said, "I actually have." I said, "But be grateful because it's not common. You don't usually see them sitting and resting. But that's the point of all the senses of gratitude.
Yes.
So do that today and this week and test yourself. What am I grateful for with regard to what I'm smelling? What am I tasting? If you're tasting something, close your eyes again and enjoy that moment. Most of the time, we're shoving food down and we're not even paying attention to what we're eating. And before we look down, the plate's empty. Put the food in there,
And you're like,
taste
what
it,
the heck?
be grateful for it. And if you don't like it, say, "Well, I'm grateful that I had this sense of taste that I know I don't like this."
You know, people, when you talk about gratitude, and thank you for going into step-by-step detail like that, because people only, well, there's nothing for me to be grateful for because they only look at it as a positive word that you're supposed to,
Right.
this glory and this glamour and this glittered life. And it's not. It's grateful that although your socks has a hole in the pinky area, that you can still wear socks and be comfortable in the shoes that will otherwise rub the back of your heel. And I'm grateful I do not live near the sewage. That's gratitude. You don't even gotta have something you're grateful for. It's something that's not around that would impede your happiness that you can also be grateful for. Absolutely, Gail. I love like I think I wrote it in the last book. Well, in the third book, because the fourth should be coming out soon. We're working on the progress of her badass story, where I love the smell of the dirt right before it rains. Don't ask, I love rain. Anybody who knows me knows I absolutely love the rain. But right after you smell the dirt and it's like a fresh cup of coffee for me. That's I can equate the smell of the fresh rain dirt to my fresh food cup of coffee because there's something I love. They're both things that I love. So walking through Portugal, Iris and I came across a lot of fields that use cow manure. And so smell of shit walking through the rural parts of Portugal. But you know what? We're like, oh my God, they must be using it. And then after that, it was a matter of fact. We're going to walk through somebody's garden through the rural parts of Portugal and we're going to smell shit because that's a part of life and growth. So then it doesn't bother you anymore. And that's being grateful that we can smell and then it just like click, click, clicks in your knowledge where you're going to say, oh, this isn't just because this is for growth. This is for this. So you just keep on your way. We're going to smell the good, the bad, the ugly, and the okay. Just go with the flow. That's your learning process. If everything that happens to you was good, what does that tell you? Whenever when shit ain't going my way, but I've been praying, I've been diligent, I've been crossing my T's and dotting my I's, and there's still this pressure. And then you got to say, ooh, I must be on the right track. Because you know what? The devil don't mess with you if you ain't got shit going on. So I talked to my brother because he's Muslim. So he's Allah. I'm Yahweh, right? But we talk. And all I say that we can all relate to is when there are obstacles in your life and you feel this pressure, but you don't know which way to go because you could only go this way. This is like the badass. Her destiny right now is getting everything ready and going to her place of happiness, which is Tennessee. But then there's going to be obstacles. So then just visualize why. Well, the only way we as spirits, bringing our human costumes with us, can be launched forward is when we are pulled back. So think of yourself as that arrow in the bow where life is pulling you back, not because it doesn't want you to be happy or to move forward or to show gratitude, but in order for it to propel you forward into the life you're supposed to be living, because now you're ready, because you're learning your 5 senses plus 1. You're learning gratitude. You've been living in kindness. You are structured in what it is you want and how you are going to go about getting it. And then those, I don't really know how the fuck this is gonna happen, but I'ma trust it. Those all work in your favor. So when you feel that pressure, just know you are being pulled back, because when they let go, prepare yourself, because you're gonna get everything you asked for and some. And then once you're there, don't complain that it's too much in order for you to be propelled. That's how I use my gratitude. In I can sit here and say everything's going against me, nothing's going right, I'm just gonna give up because I kept trying and it's failing. Or you're gonna say, damn, what's waiting for me on the other side must be good, because the universe is making me work hard for it. You get it?
Amen to that.
You
Amen
get
to
it? So that's gratitude, in looking at your scenario and finding out that I can say, fuck this is too much work. Or damn, I'm gonna be firm and fit by the time I get where I'm supposed to be. And that's the choices of saying, I'm grateful for everything that happens until I get to where I'm supposed to get to. Because once I'm there, like I said earlier, mi gente, everything is temporary. Once you're there, you're gonna grow. It's like you planted yourself in that ground. And then you're going to blossom and you're going to grow, and then you're going to branch out on your own, because that's what's meant for you. So whatever's happening between now and your blossom, deal with it. Take it in, learn, listen, write it down, don't forget it. And that is your blueprint for when you branch out on your own. And if you believe in that, and if you believe in yourself enough to know that you are filled with gratitude, you've been kind, you've been semi-well understanding, because a wrench is thrown in your plans, but that wrench was thrown at you because you got to tighten up some bolts. And then you got to hurry up and sit the fuck down and observe and absorb until it's your time to branch off, because everything is in steps. You can't reach the top by skipping 7 steps, right? Can you do that? I can't do that. You gotta take each step. Some are shaky, some will probably feel like it's gonna crack through, some are solid, the other one got sticky goo on it. Go through the steps, and then you're gonna come out. But you gotta earn those battle scars. Battle beautifully, mi gente. If not, is it worth it? Anything easy is just easy. Go ahead, pour your blood, sweat, and tears into your project that is your life. That's showing gratitude.
And I really, really enjoyed the show that we had. Thank you for bringing it up, Gladiator Guru, the observe and absorb. And if you get a chance, go back to that. But this is really key here, because so we can start this right now. So here's what we want you to do. If you can, if you're driving, please don't do this. But if you can, just close your eyes for a moment and touch something, smell the air. You're hearing my voice and you're listening to us, but see what else you can hear. And I'll stop talking for a moment so that you can do that. But just take this moment, 10 seconds. And what was it that you heard? What did you smell? What did you feel? And this is where observing and absorbing, this is where that pause, as Madeline was talking about, or was it Madeline? Yeah, Madeline. This is what's important, because when you utilize your senses, you have to really, really make them work for you. You have to pause. And that pause allows you to observe. You don't have to observe with your eyes. You could observe with your ears. You could observe with your nose. You could observe with your tongue. And then absorb the information that's coming to you. What is being said to you?
Mm-hmm.
What is information is flowing into you? When Gladiator was talking about that sixth sense, that intuition, the only way that information flows into that area is when you are still and you let that information flow from above. And it is the connection between you from above and the ground. And you ground yourself and you sit down and you let it come in and you hear what's processing inside you and you acknowledge it. But the only way to do that is for you to observe and absorb, and then from there decide. Sometimes the decision is to just, I have to sit longer. I have to stay shut. I have to not
Thank
say
you.
anything. Sometimes it's, I've got to say something. I've got to jump up. I've got to take action. Sometimes it's, I got to pack my stuff and get the hell out of here. Sometimes it's, you know what? I'm
You
going
got
to
to
write.
pack up because you got to get the hell out of here.
That's
No.
right. You got to back up and you get the hell out. That's right. But the only time that we know the best way to go is by sitting and taking that pause. We are a very reactive society. We don't hear everything. We don't see everything. I'm just as guilty of that. That quote trigger, when somebody triggers you, it's they trigger you only because you have not resolved the issues within you. And that is the hard truth. That really is the hard truth. And so you have to sit with that. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to apologize for how you've reacted. You might have to, but if it's in the process of you working through your truth and letting go of the lies to yourself and learning from that, and then doing things differently, being a better version of yourself the next day. Sometimes going back and asking people, to bring back stuff that's in the past sometimes makes the situation even worse, because it may still, you might be trying to resolve it for yourself, but it's not resolved for the other person or the situation. So go forward knowing that things may have to come out later, that taking a step back or a conversation, but if it happens, great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But the bottom line is going forward, being very clear on yourself with gratitude. I'm grateful for the experiences. I'm grateful for putting my foot in my mouth sometimes. I'm grateful for other people speaking so that I see who they really are. I'm grateful for people showing me who they really are. And then you make a decision. Do I want to be around this anymore? Do I want to be a part of this anymore? Because everything was so obviously in front of you. And it wasn't just what you saw. It was what you heard. It was what you smelled. It was what you tasted. It was what you felt. It was your intuition. And you take all of that and take that pause and then make an informed decision for yourself.
Yes, absolutely. When you're making that informed decision, also ask yourself, because when you first decide to come out of where you were, you will be judgmental, but you're camouflaging it with something else, with enlightenment. Oh, I never realized that I was suffering so much because I was an empath, but your mind is still in that negative victimization. Everybody does me wrong. I don't trust nobody. So it is a fine line between love and hate, mi gente. I know you've heard that many times. And thank you for saying that, because I caught so much shit when I would say about that mind shifting, about authenticity, and about being triggered. People are like, well, it's a real thing. No, you are triggered because I mirrored something within you that you have been ignoring. Don't blame me. Don't put that shit on me.
Yeah,
I do not trigger you.
It's the hard truth
of shit I don't know. And I caught so much when I tell you that people called me cruel, they said, oh, you just what? Because you act like nothing ever affected you. Everything affected you. How dare you? Because I didn't deal with it like a victim and a pathetic person that's always laying on the floor blaming everybody. Then I didn't deal with it. So when I tell someone, I hate that word trigger. That's another word to use.
The word trigger triggers her.
Another word for these sensitive people to use against the masses because they want us to come into their world. And it's not, you don't even want to be in your world. Why you want to bring me into it? So, so I just stayed away from it. And when people start on that thing, I just didn't say anything because I can't argue with you. But don't accuse me of triggering some unresolved issue, unmatched, unfaced, undealt with issues of yours that I have no idea from. But because I said something, because I sang something, because I showed up, triggered you. So always sit and pause. Madeline, thank you for that word. Everything that Badass Buddha said after that with that word is so true. Sit in it. There was something else that was said here. You don't trigger me. If I react, it is my issue. Thank you. But people don't want that truth because then it becomes their responsibility.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then you only like people who you can manipulate with your sad story. And then those that be like, I don't want to listen to this no more. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Well, if you still want to just talk about it, that means you don't have a plan to release it. And I'm not going to be garbage disposal. So I'm the mean one. And I'm okay with that. I'm going to be like that to my last breath because I will refuse to take on anyone else's stuff because I have a lot to carry. And there's an ebb and flow to life. And right now I'm right here. Like I'm not flowing because this is my pause season. And it's meant, what's meant to break you will build you, but it's still that no, there's no flow in anything. So when you rise, you rise, and then you take care of what you got to take care of. And that's the gratitude in saying, I was longer in that valley than I anticipated, but boom, let's move forward. We're not wrong we're wrong in thinking that everybody else is responsible for what we went through. There's I belong to this group on Facebook and Instagram. It's a Sagittarius thing, right? Because I'm a Sagittarius, and they talk about Sagittarius goes to the eye doctors, and it must be the other part of there's two parts to every sign. So I'm like, oh, this is not my part of the sign. And it says, I went to the eye doctor's like, well, what have you been seeing? She goes, well, what I haven't been seeing are the red flags. And I really liked that because sometimes you want to look at people, places, and things with the eyes of your heart. Con los ojos del corazón.
I think that's any sign.
And so when you do that, you choosing to look at things with the purity of your heart. And then when it doesn't work out, well, I gave you a chance. Well, I trusted you and you destroyed my trust. Did they destroy your trust, or was it the trust you imposed on them? Because we avoided the red flags. Because we avoided the detour sign because there's rocks falling from that. When you're driving, be careful because rocks can fall into the road. I mean, is it avoiding, or did someone just brutally abuse us? And there's a thin line with that too. But whatever it is, feel your pain, feel your anguish, feel what you got to feel, and then let it go. And that's what this trials to tribulations, trials to triumphant, and transformation book is about. Gail just wrote a book and it talks about that. And
yeah, Gail's book is fabulous.
And in the Bible, my favorite one I've been using this last week is lean not on your own understanding. See, we think we know it all until somebody triggers your ass with the truth, and now you want to be mad. It's not only what we know and what we've learned, it's what is. So when you can pause and be and just in that lazy river of what is, then we can see where we need to go and what we need to leave behind. But everything, every choice, every decision, every step is up to us. And that's how we live it. We got to live our truth in knowing I'm a fuck up. I done made some poor decisions. I love those little bad boys, but I'm not no fixer. I need a change. And that's how it comes. Those bad boys didn't hurt you. Why you kept picking the same type of bad boy? We all love those bad boys. You know, oh, we're gonna change them, we're gonna fix them, and or we're just gonna they make me happy. I love somebody who makes me so it's about reviewing, and we had this last year. Review, what is it, badass? Review,
reset, reset, I can't remember.
and it's totally up to us, and that's how you live. You have to live. Movimiento es vida. And in order for you to live in movement, that's going forward. In Spanish, there's a thing, ni para atrás, ni para coger impulso. Like, siempre para adelante. Siempre para adelante, para adelante. And, you know, and like, como un elefante, they say, always forward like an elephant. We must be our confidant, our best friend, our hype man, our cheerleader, you know, our super fucking hero. That's what we need to do. Instead of investing in Beyonce concerts, go get a full body massage, your facial and reflexology on your damn feet. It's probably the same amount. Because right now, a regular massage is $130, right? That's the you. That's the, you know, you want to be like, oh my God, that song, play it, put it on fucking AirPods and get a massage.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Choose you, whether you got to sit in the dark corner in your house and cry. Choose you, whether you're going to put, you know, them little diamonds on your eyes because you messed up a little on your eyeliner wings because I can't see without my glasses, right? So what you do, you improvise. What it is, I could have taken it off, but I'm like, no, why? Let me glitter a little bit. Why? Because I want to, and it makes me happy. And if I feel happy, then it's triggering my day to look at things in light and not in darkness. So the choice is always yours, but the blaming other people should not even just. That's why people walk away. Sometimes my decision is to stop doing. I did that yesterday. And sometimes you just got to take a minute and do nothing.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I do want to mention, so if you go onto Amazon and go to Gail Craft, two of her books, the newest one, Journey to Enlightenment, is really, really good. It's very detailed. And then Crafting the Flow Formula is also really good too. So check out both of those books because again, not only does it support the tribe, but and same thing with Gladiator Guru's books, my books or whatever, it supports the tribe, but it's like supporting a local vendor too, you know, like a local shop. And it's all great information, you know, like we tend to attract the people that either are seeking the information that we have to offer or they are like-minded people. And it's important for us to share this information. And that is why actually Thursday's show, I didn't even mean to do this, but it segued. Thursday's show is teaching it. So today was living it, all the senses of gratitude. And then Thursday, we're going to be talking about teaching it, teaching gratitude. We all know that when you know something and then you teach it to somebody else, it actually instills it deeper within you. And so we're going to be talking about that on Thursday. So this is important for you to really take today, this week, the weekend, and even going forward and pause and just take those moments to actually work those senses with gratitude. What am I hearing and what am I grateful for? You know, like I'll give you some examples with me. One of the joys that I've had living where I live in Shelton is we've always been on the path for Sikorsky aircraft when they would do their helicopter tests. And I have been since a child. I love helicopters. I think they are the coolest things ever. I have yet to be in a helicopter. I've never gone on a helicopter ride, but I want to. But I just love them. I think they're so cool to look at. I like the different types of helicopters. So to this day, I'll be outside working in the yard and I hear the helicopter coming. They don't come as much as they used to. And I stop what I'm doing If I hear a jet that sounds low or sounds different than normal, I stop what I'm doing, or a regular plane, because I love that stuff. So I hear it coming. And especially when I've heard more than one helicopter, on occasion, they'll have like 3 Chinooks fly by, which is very rare. And I can tell by the propeller sounds, I know what it is. And I'm so grateful for those moments that, being able to hear something and taking it in and saying, oh, and enjoying that moment of it. It's the same thing with the bad, hearing people arguing and knowing that I need to walk away from this because I just don't want to hear this, or it doesn't pertain to me and it's none of my business, or whatever. But take that time today, tomorrow, and this week and weekend, is practice it. Close your eyes. What do you smell? What do you hear? Taste something, whatever food you're eating, whatever you're drinking, and think about what you're grateful for. Think about that you're grateful that you could taste. How many people lost their sense of taste during COVID stuff? And then when it came back, they were like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for this. But don't wait until we don't have it anymore. That's what we tend to do with gratitude. We wait until we don't have it anymore, and then we realize how grateful we were to have it. So take this moment and say, you know what? I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful that I can walk. I injured my foot almost 2 weeks ago, and I'm still hobbling around at a bad time when I need to be packing and painting and moving stuff and lugging stuff up and down steps. But I had to look at it and say, there was a reason for this.
Slow down.
I haven't 100% figured it out, but there's a reason for this. And so I've been just slowing down a little bit, giving myself permission to sit down, let it prop my leg up or whatever. But do that. Take the action of being grateful today, tomorrow, next week, this week, the week, and exploring it through all your senses.
Yes. Madeline says we sometimes forget. I rely on my intuition, my gut, my spiritual reading 95% of when I do things. And if I'll fuck with you with that doubt, it's because something's pushing me to mess with you, to handle, to work with you until I learn you. And I'm not perfect, let me tell you, at all. But I try to, what's that word that I was using? I try not to impose what I think about you as much as what I'm feeling from you. And that's always since I was little. But Desiree said, I was just thinking bad boys throw down like magic. My girl, shut up. Them bad boys, the way that swag when they're walking away, that little side view, and they ain't no good, but you just like, with that cake batter, you shouldn't be with that raw eggs in it, but you still dip that finger in. Yeah, we got to just know that batter's not good for us. Put some water in it right away. And so, you know what? Bad boys are sexy as shit, Gail says. Yeah. But, everything that the badass Buddha was talking about, really, it was like music to me. Have you noticed, normally we're like back and forth, but there are things that we can read about, that we can think about, but when someone says it in a way that it feels like little pieces of gold being thrown in the air. If that's any way I can put it, to where how it's like my ear still like feeling it. Sometimes that pause is to listen to somebody, because that somebody doesn't even realize the value of what they just said. So thank you. Because when sometimes we don't even live what we're saying, but we got to say it in order for it to come back for us to understand it. And then we're sharing it with those who need to hear it. That's why, and the little morning videos I make, I said, come on, Viva's going live in 5. Let's share. Let's listen. Let's learn. And let's teach it forward. Because sometimes we may believe a certain part, and what we're believing is true, but we're missing that important little spice in the recipe, which is the knowing, the love of it, the understanding to where it's not words. You can't always just trust what you see and what you hear. You have to go on what you feel. And that's why my ear felt, when somebody, this is how I could describe it. When somebody comes into your ear and they think they're whispering, but they're just pouring their own breath in your ear. And then you're like, ooh. And then you feel that feeling for a while. To me, that's what you just said. So thank you for teaching that. Because, if anybody goes away with anything today, just go away knowing that the gratitude isn't only for the good things. The gratitude is being grateful you experience what's not for you, because now you saved yourself years of experimenting or going down the wrong lane. So, Gail said at first that the smell of the cow manure, right? But then she said she actually loved it, or I don't know, she was grateful for
it. Reminded her of
because on the other side of that fermented field was the lake she liked to swim in.
Here she goes. Memories of swimming a clear river water because I had to walk through a cow field to get there. Yeah. Yep.
See? So just because you may deem it not to be good, positive, smelling like a field of poppies, doesn't mean it's be grateful that you know exactly where you're at, and you have to cross this area to get to your oasis. And so live it up in a way that you can look back when you're 90 and you're rocking on that chair. And let's pray to God we are here for that. And we've watched our family grow and blossom and make it on their own, and we're rocking, and we can look back and say, oh, I almost fucked that up, but boop, I didn't.
If you want to really get just to be reminded of the power of gratitude with regards to the bad things that happen, just watch the movie Under the Tuscan Sun. I know most people have seen it.
I just watched it again.
That's just like one of the best movies because everything just keeps happening to her. And in the end, she ends up creating the most incredible life, And it all started because of her breakup with her marriage. And it's just, so I love that movie when I want to be reminded, not to mention, I just love Diane Lane. I love the whole premise of that movie. I love where it's filmed.
No, I love the guy.
It's such a beautiful reminder of, you know what, you can have what it is that you want in your life. You just have to be able to really appreciate it. You have to be around the hard stuff to really understand what it is that you want, number one, what's important to you, and then to really truly enjoy the beauty that unfolds in front of you. So but you have to think of it this way, that as long as you keep moving forward, if you stay stagnant, which is one of the things that I've done for a few years now, you're just going to keep repeating the bad. It's going to keep reminding you, and it's going to get louder if you don't make that change. And it's all about, what did you learn from this? What did you learn? And that's gotten really loud in my ear. You're talking about that breath, that's what's been in my ear is, have you learned this yet? Have you learned this yet? And I finally believe I have. The clarity is coming in. So anyway,
and that's beautiful. And that movie, if you haven't watched it, I recommend it highly. I've watched it. I want to say the other day I watched it. It was probably my 8th time because the Badass Buddha is absolutely factual in what she's saying about what you learn from that. The acceptance of people that you were not even raised with. Now you're in a whole different country, and then you're working with a whole different culture to work with you in this different country. And I think that is beautiful. And let me tell you something, that we don't know what we need half the time. And the beauty of discovering that is being around people who see us for what we are and remind us. In this movie, she taught, it was heartbreaking and it was empowering. It was hard work. She had a love affair. And then it's just beautiful. And then she said when she bought that house, because I believe badass that the realtor was in love with her, that she wanted this, this, and this. And then something happened and she's like, and I don't know why I did this, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, he's like, you got everything you asked for.
Yes.
And it was nothing to do with her personal life, but everything she asked for happened.
Exactly. That's what I love. I get goosebumps during that
You know
part.
why? Because we always think it has to happen to us. No, it happens. It happens. You know what the blessing
That's
is?
where it happens through us. That's where your expression that you keep saying.
Yeah, but we believe it has to happen to us. So, you know, the beauty of it is that you can stand there and look and say, wow, because it's like you're being shown a movie of the very things you asked for. So it is happening to you and through you, because the joy can become so insurmountable that that bliss is shared generations to come. And that should be something that we strive to be. We should strive to be that light for, especially for our children, and for those of us who have them. I'm going on my 5th grandchild, so I can say I can't believe I'm a granny to 5. I can't believe that my 3rd grandchild is coming in at 6'2".
Wow.
Like, oh my God. And so be grateful that you can see, that you can speak love to those around you, that you can listen to the everything, the good, the bad, the maybes, you know, that you can feel the presence of where you need to either stay or get the hell out really quickly. Because when you become in tune with your 5 senses plus 1, you can feel where you don't need to be. That gut feeling is telling you, get the fuck out, back it up, beep, 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 make a UE, don't go. And be in tune with who you are before you judge anybody else. And that in itself is gratitude. So
there you go.
what did you write? I love their food. Sometimes it's close to Catano's Cucina. Oh, I never tried that.
La Cagüeña is closed, so that's what she was, or it's closing. It closed down this past weekend, so she was asking where there's another. They're okay. Catano's Cucina. It's in Huntington Center in Shelton. It's not bad. It's not as good as La Cagüeña, but
La
there's got to be
Cagüeña
another.
where?
What?
The Cagüeña that used to be on East Main and
no, on Main Street, not East Main. It was on Main Street near St. V's.
Yeah, I never ate there. But
no, on East Main Street was Morir Vivir, wasn't that one?
No, Morir Vivir's on Pembroke, and their food will even change. But I stopped eating La Cagüeña years ago. So I'm grateful for you ladies in this tribe. I get poured into always and go throughout the week hearing you guys saying have gratitude. Evelyn, that's beautiful, and that's our mission. So yeah, thank you,
our
ladies.
mission is done for today. So thank you for staying on. We appreciate it. We'll see you on Thursday. And remember to share, even though we're over, let people watch after the fact. We would appreciate that. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty, breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.